Justin Baldoni is back in court, but the question still remains, where was Ryan Reynolds? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. Yes, parties are back in court today. Justin Baldoni arrived for the second day in court. Here we have the footage of him arriving with his wife, Emily.
Justin, how are you feeling today?
There's Jamie.
What was the tension like in that room?
Why couldn't you guys settle yesterday?
Hope you guys stay nice and warm.
Thank you. Any chance of a settlement still?
Clearly, he's not answering anything, but he did wish
Justin, you guys
everyone
going to
stay
court?
warm.
Day 2 of court began, but the most anticipated face was conspicuously missing. Blake Lively arrived. Yes, but where was Ryan Reynolds? The silence in the courtroom spoke volumes about this glaring absence. Speculation immediately ignited. His wife, facing intense legal scrutiny, appeared without her most vocal, fiercely protective supporter. The man who publicly raged about workplace safety, who passionately declared his unwavering support, was nowhere to be seen as his partner navigated a solo legal battle. This wasn't just an oversight, it was a bombshell. Everyone expected his presence, a show of force, but instead, Blake stood alone. The question echoed through the halls, why?
Today.
Hope you guys stay nice and warm.
Thank you. Any chance of a settlement still?
Clearly, he's not answering anything, but he did wish
Justin, you guys
everyone
going to
stay
court?
warm. Now, for those curious, they aren't going to settle with Blake. Blake is not there in court today. What they are actually doing today is a separate settlement, because remember, there's multiple lawsuits. This one against Stephanie Jones versus Jen Abel, but that also includes Melissa Nathan and Justin, I believe. There are other defendants. There's a lot of people involved in this, but not necessarily Blake. I don't think she needed to attend this. And from what I've gathered, we haven't seen her enter the courtroom. This one's specifically focused on the Jones versus Abel case, which
Justin Baldoni, the other key figure, arrived precisely as expected, his wife Emily by his side, offering visible support. Jamie, another party involved, also had his partner present, ready to witness or advise. This stark contrast immediately amplified the intrigue surrounding Ryan's vanishing act. In such a high-stakes negotiation where critical decisions are made and futures hang in the balance, having your spouse present is almost universally expected. Their presence provides not just emotional backing, but crucial feedback during tense moments. Yet for Blake, that fundamental support system from her husband was inexplicably absent. The optics were undeniably bad, painting a picture of isolation that many found deeply unsettling.
in the loop, because these cases are connected. But the fact that Blake Lively didn't show up today to sort of figure out what's going on there and witness or be part of it is interesting. But I'm still stuck on the bigger question is, where's Ryan Reynolds? Emily showed up, Justin's wife. Jamie's wife was also there. We had reports of them in the courtroom, a separate courtrooms waiting as Justin would come in and speak to his wife and Jamie would speak to his wife. You want your partner there as such a big negotiation is happening, because if a settlement is going to happen, I'm sure he wants his wife's feedback. So the fact that Ryan Reynolds wasn't there, maybe he was there in spirit. Is that the same jacket that she's wearing? A lot of people are theorizing.
It turns out Blake Lively herself wasn't in court for this specific settlement discussion, which primarily focused on the Jones versus Abel case, a separate but connected legal tangle. Justin Baldoni, being a defendant in that particular matter, understandably attended, wanting to stay in the loop on all connected proceedings. This detail clarifies her physical absence, but doesn't diminish the overarching question of why her husband Ryan wasn't present as a general show of solidarity for the broader legal storm swirling around his family. The multiple lawsuits are intertwined, and the emotional toll on Blake remains significant, regardless of which specific hearing was taking place that day.
He yelled like a maniac, but little Ryan Reynolds was too scared to be in a room where he didn't have any power. Amen. Amen. He loves to terrorize people in private, but that's all public display now. Let's all shed a tear for little Ryan. Yeah, why wasn't he there? I got to ask that. Now, you could argue, I think there's some stuff that's happening with Wrexham, and that's part of maybe he was busy with Wrexham, but I don't know, man. This is a pretty big absence, and it makes it look like Blake's not supported. You would think, given how angry he was and how he wasn't angry enough of being there for his wife, right? What husband wouldn't support his wife and the mother of his children? He saw his wife fighting daily to stand up against SH in a private and
Ryan Reynolds' absence, despite Blake's own non-attendance at this specific session, remained the dominant, unsettling mystery. This is the man who publicly expressed passionate anger, who vowed to stand up for a safe workplace, free of harassment and retaliation, with his wife and others. He'd previously stated he felt he wasn't angry enough, yet when a pivotal moment arrived, his presence was completely missing. This glaring inconsistency fueled intense speculation. Was he too scared to be in a room where he didn't hold power? Did his anger only manifest in private, not in the public glare of a courtroom? The questions piled up, creating a narrative of uncharacteristic retreat.
Makes me believe there was no chance Blake was ever even going to consider any sort of settlement. How would you not come prepared with your husband there if you were actually being sincere in your attempts to do it? If your husband is so vehemently involved, you know what I mean, guys? Like really, really involved. Like to me, there's too many examples of Ryan's upsetness, right? Of his anger, of all this stuff, to not like have him at that case, because you got to remember, it's key. I have the wrong thing on. Make sure you support my channel. You got to remember, these sort of settlement hearings, they're brutal. I have no doubt that both sides.
The lack of Ryan Reynolds at the hearing sent a powerful, unspoken message about the sincerity of any potential settlement. If Blake were genuinely prepared to consider a give-and-take resolution, wouldn't her famously involved husband be right there, prepared to offer counsel and support? His passionate belief in a safe workplace, coupled with his previous public outrage, made his non-appearance even more perplexing. It suggested that a genuine settlement requiring concessions might not have been a serious consideration from Blake's side at all. Why engage in a brutal settlement, hearing unprepared, especially without your fiercely opinionated partner?
Remember, these sort of settlement hearings, they're brutal. I have no doubt that both sides were angry or didn't leave happy. Justin maybe felt a little bit better because I do think he's winning right now from the sake of actually having a case. Blake doesn't have one. I think the odds are absolutely in Justin's favor that Lyman's going to come back throwing away some of Blake's claims. I would bet money on it at this point. I don't know how many. At the same time, I wouldn't bet a lot of money just because Lyman has proven to be a little overly safe and seemingly more team Blake. So look, I think overall though, Justin should feel confident in that. Yeah, it's leaning towards him. Even if
Settlement hearings are notoriously brutal, leaving both sides feeling angry and dissatisfied. It's a grueling process of compromise where nobody truly wins. However, there's a strong belief that Justin Baldoni might be feeling a bit more confident in his position right now. The odds, many argue, are leaning heavily in his favor. Blake's case, some legal experts suggest, lacks the solid foundation needed for a definitive victory, particularly against a jury. This disparity in perceived legal strength makes Ryan's absence even more impactful, as it could be interpreted as a tacit acknowledgement of the uphill battle Blake faces, perhaps signaling a lack of confidence in her claims.
Who has been such a controlling factor. Chad, am I crazy? Ryan has been such a controlling factor in this, right? Such an angry force. The fact that he wasn't there, to me, tells me everything. There's no way they would have even considered, or maybe that was by him not showing up. It's sort of a sign of we have the power. We're not even taking this seriously because Ryan's not here. There's kind of almost like did Ryan show up? Kind of feeling of me. Well, he didn't hear, so she must not be interested in settlement. Like that's what it feels like to me. So that's how I take it. Tell me if I'm crazy. I just don't believe for a second she would have gone into this intentionally hoping to settle without Ryan there.
Experts have consistently pointed to weaknesses in Blake's legal arguments, particularly those rooted in employment semantics. Real employment lawyers who have weighed in suggest her claims don't hold up, indicating a significant challenge in proving her case. The evidence presented so far and the general understanding of employment law suggests she has little to truly prove beyond highly technical and often unconvincing points. This legal vulnerability further emphasizes why a settlement would be her most logical path forward. Yet the absence of her vocal champion, Ryan, suggests a strategic inflexibility, possibly even a stubborn refusal to concede any ground.
The color matching. This is what everybody's talking about. Did they color coordinate on their way to court with the pea-colored jackets and stuff, as you can see here? Very oddly interesting how that all played out. This was covered in, I want to just play this clip and then I'll move over to show you all the headlines that jumped on this. They did look matchy-matchy. And everyone from Vulture to In Style inadvertently matched unexpected outfit combinations in the court appearance to glamour, accidentally coordinated in court. I mean, this looks strange. I don't believe they called each other, and you can tell it's a slightly different color, but there's definitely this pink and pea green. And as we
For many, Ryan Reynolds has been a controlling force, an angry, omnipresent shadow over this entire legal saga. His public statements have dictated much of the narrative, shaping how fans and observers perceive Blake's struggle. The man who has been so fiercely vocal, so seemingly controlling of the message, suddenly disappearing from the scene is profoundly telling. It's almost as if his absence itself is a calculated move, a defiant signal. Is it a sign that they hold such power they don't need to take the proceedings seriously? Or does it signify a deeper reluctance to engage in the necessary compromises a settlement demands? The statement is loud despite the silence. A settlement fundamentally demands a give and take, a willingness to compromise and meet halfway. Without Ryan there, many believe Blake Lively is neither willing nor truly able to engage in such a delicate dance. His strong influence, his public pronouncements, and his well-documented anger suggest he's not one for concession, particularly when it comes to defending his family. His absence effectively communicates a firm no to any serious negotiation attempts. It implies a strategic decision to stand firm, perhaps even to project an image of unyielding resolve, rather than genuine openness to resolution. This bold stance, however, comes with significant risks. Shifting gears to an entirely different yet equally puzzling court observation, the highly unusual color coordination between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni on the first day of court. Photographs captured both stars sporting remarkably similar shades of pastel pink and muted green in their attire. This striking visual immediately ignited a firestorm of online theories and headlines. Was it a bizarre coincidence, a subtle nod, or something far more orchestrated? The media, from Vulture to InStyle, jumped on the unexpectedly matched looks, with some calling it accidentally coordinated and others inadvertently matched, but everyone agreed it was undeniably strange. The internet went wild, dissecting every detail. While the colors weren't perfectly identical, the overall pink and green palette was undeniable and highly conspicuous. Glamour magazine noted the accidental coordination, while others questioned the deliberate nature of such a peculiar sartorial choice for a high-stakes legal battle. This wasn't a red carpet after all. The immediate conclusion for many was that this couldn't possibly be a mere accident. The level of detail Blake Lively usually puts into her wardrobe, often seen as on-brand and intentional, made the idea of a simple coincidence incredibly hard to believe, igniting a conspiracy rather than a casual thought. The theories quickly focused on the psychological meanings of the chosen colors. Pink, particularly pastel shades, is often associated with playfulness, approachability, and softness, precisely the image Blake Lively might want to project to the public, despite past portrayals. Green, on the other hand, symbolizes renewal, balance, harmony, and a desire to lower emotional temperatures. It suggests moving forward, conveying safety and wellness. These interpretations align neatly with a desire to conclude the case swiftly and gracefully. It implies a calculated effort to soften their public image and convey a sense of calm amidst the legal storm, a strategic use of color psychology. While the intent might have been to convey serenity and approachability, there's a significant risk to such overtly curated court attire. Experts warned that Blake's polished, intentional look, clearly built to tell a story, could easily backfire. The level of curation, critics argued, might read as Hollywood packaging, making the serious allegations feel trivialized or overly produced. Wrapping grave accusations in soothing pastels, especially when she has spoken about bring your florals in the past, risks appearing inappropriate and disingenuous. It suggests a disconnect between the gravity of the situation and the perceived superficiality of the image presented, a public relations gamble. The intriguing element wasn't just Blake's choices, it was Justin Baldoni's parallel attire. He appeared to mirror the same green and pink color scheme, specifically with a pink scarf. This immediately raised questions. Did he also consciously select these colors, understanding their symbolic weight? Was his pink accessory a deliberate attempt to further soften his image or convey a sense of peaceful resolution? While Justin's public image is generally seen as soft and approachable already, the coordination suggests a shared, possibly strategic sartorial decision. It begged the question, were these matching outfits a mere fluke, or uniforms meant to send a unified, albeit subtle message to the court and public? There are several intriguing possibilities for the synchronized fashion choices. One theory suggests it signals that Blake and Justin have finally found some common ground, perhaps mutually agreeing to work towards an end to the protracted legal battle. Another, more cynical idea posits they might even be seeing the same therapist, receiving similar advice on how to navigate their public image after a year of intense scrutiny. Of course, the simplest explanation remains pure coincidence, despite its low probability given the circumstances. Ultimately though, the choice of clothing alone is unlikely to sway minds or alter the legal outcomes, yet it adds another layer to this complex narrative. Ultimately, the consensus leans towards a deliberate choice by both Blake and Justin to don the green and pink. Whether coordinated directly or independently, the decision to wear these specific hues likely aimed to leverage their symbolic meanings. Blake to appear approachable and seeking resolution, Justin perhaps reinforcing his own perceived role as someone seeking balance and moving forward. It's highly probable Justin, like many in the public eye, is aware of color psychology and its potential impact. This subtle visual communication served as an interesting backdrop to the serious legal proceedings, adding a layer of deliberate public messaging to the unfolding drama beyond mere aesthetics. Against this backdrop of carefully chosen colors designed to convey peace and resolution, Ryan Reynolds' absence becomes even more striking. If there was a concerted effort to project a softened image or a willingness to seek common ground, why would the most fervent, outspoken advocate for Blake be missing? His non-appearance contradicts the very message of harmony and negotiation that the pastel outfit supposedly conveyed. It creates a jarring dissonance between the visual messaging and the reality of his personal involvement or lack thereof. This dramatic juxtaposition further deepens the mystery surrounding his whereabouts and intentions on such a critical day. The lingering question remains, was Ryan Reynolds genuinely preoccupied with his Wrexham commitments, as some have theorized, or was his absence a more calculated strategic maneuver? While his involvement with the football club is well known, the timing of this particular absence during such a high-stakes legal moment for his wife makes simple busyness a difficult explanation to swallow for many. It suggests a deliberate decision to not be present, which, given his public persona and past actions, carries significant weight. Was he sending a message of disengagement, or was it a tactical display of power, signaling an unwillingness to engage with perceived trivialities? Without Ryan's controlling, angry presence, it appears Blake Lively might not be serious about a settlement at all. His absence suggests a lack of preparedness for the give and take required. If he, her fiercest champion and apparent strategic advisor, isn't there to guide her through such a difficult process, it implies a fundamental unwillingness to concede. His known influence and unwavering stance against perceived wrongdoing mean that any genuine settlement attempt would likely require his direct involvement. His vanishing act, therefore, is interpreted by many as a clear signal that the path of compromise is not currently on the table for Blake, regardless of legal realities. So what does Ryan Reynolds' conspicuous absence truly reveal about the power dynamics at play, the likelihood of a settlement, and Blake Lively's ultimate stance? Is it a sign of weakness, a strategic bluff, or a chilling indication of an unyielding resolve that defies conventional wisdom? His no-show, juxtaposed with the carefully curated optics of others, screams volumes about the deeper conflicts and intentions at the heart of this ongoing legal drama. It challenges every expectation and leaves us wondering if this was a calculated move to assert power by not engaging, or if it exposes a crack in the united front we thought existed. The court of public opinion remains deeply divided, still searching for the real truth behind the missing superstar.